Well, I could see peace instead of this. We look around the world today, and sometimes it feels a little bit like things are a little askew, a little bit off, a little uncomfortable, but we are awakening, and we're awakening to something really remarkable, I think, something very different than anything we've known before this. And the reason is things aren't working out so well. There's challenges all over. If we just take a look, we start to see, the world heating up. We see violence happening, guns. We see disease. We see shortages of all manner of things and people in the right places and all kinds of stuff going on. And that suggests to me that there's something happening. There's a big change underfoot. I'm reading a book called Birthing the Nation of Gaia by Sharif Abdullah, and the book is brilliant. And he says in there that we are awakening to a new way, to a realization that we are much more powerful than we thought we were. So what are we going to do? How do we carry that awareness forward into a larger expression of good for our own lives, for the lives of our spiritual communities, our larger community, and for our planet? Now what? Such a big question. It's only 2 words, but it's a really big question. He talks in there about the caterpillar. And the caterpillar is such a fabulous way of looking at what is occurring at all times as things change. So what is the purpose of the caterpillar? Sharif Abdullah, in his book, Birthing the Nation of Gaia, writes, "You may view the caterpillar as destroying your garden. However, from the point of view of the entire caterpillar butterfly life cycle, the purpose of the caterpillar is to collect, process, and store energy as quickly and efficiently as possible." But does the caterpillar know this? Does it think about its purpose? Does it think about the taste of the single leaf directly in front of it? Does it think that it's part of a process, or does it think that it's a lone individual? Does it think about its role in the web of life, or does it think in the eternal now? Does it think it's entering a new phase? Does it think that it's dying? Perhaps it doesn't think at all. He goes on to say, just ask, presumably the caterpillar does not think about the process of being a caterpillar. You don't think about the process of being human, but your life does have purpose. Humanity has purpose on Earth. And for the past 10,000 years or so, we've yet to realize that. So we know about the caterpillar that it will, eat, and then it attaches itself to a branch, creates the chrysalis, dissolves into the goo, the caterpillar goo, and then transforms and emerges as the butterfly. And when I look at the butterfly, I think what beauty, what grace, what elegance. When I think about the caterpillar, I think, ew, it's a creepy little worm. But the truth is, they are one. As we journey along and we take a look at the world around us, a lot of times we're, sort of thinking, well, I'll believe it when I see it. But the truth is, everything that's already been created is in the state of decay. It's in the state of dissolution. It's in the state of returning back to the idea from which it came, from the nothingness, because everything that already is, eventually, once it's created, it begins to die, dissolve, decrease, whatever the case may be. So what we want to realize is that we don't want to be living from what's happened already. What we want to do is birth a new idea. We want to begin to go back into that divine essence that we are, that God self or that spirit self inside of us, and allow ourselves to discover the strength, the power, the vision that we have, so that we can create a world that actually is sustainable. And we can do that. We have the ability to do that. We've discovered through this teaching and, well, through science, that it is our thinking that moves this energy into form. Thoughts become things. So what is it that I'm thinking about? What am I thinking about moment by moment? What am I thinking about? Am I worried, fearful, doubting? When I think back, this is in Christianity, this, of course, is Holy Week, and today is Palm Sunday. And if we think back to those stories, Jesus was riding into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, and there was a great celebration. But I think at the core, he knew what was coming. He knew riding into Jerusalem, he knew what was happening. And I believe that he and Judas even had some level of agreement, a soul level or whatever the case may be, but there was a level of agreement as to what this was going to look like. I think sometimes we forget, or maybe we don't know. What I believe, you don't have to believe it, but what I believe is that, even when we come into life, we come in with agreements. We come into life knowing that there's something that I do or something that I bring that is going to require the participation of others. And so we work together to bring it about, to bring it to life. So when I think about the journey that we're on, and I think about what it is that we're doing here and what it is we're creating, it reminds me that every single thing, good, bad, or indifferent, there's some level of agreement that has happened prior to. So when I think about the story of, this Holy Week, I think it's an opportunity for us as we follow what it is that Jesus did. Well, there's only one thing he taught, and that's to love one another, love ourselves and love each other. So that's pretty simple. And not some people, but all people. But also to have an appreciation for life. He walked with nothing because he knew his source and supply. So when we begin to live in a new way, and then we start to see that, sometimes things go a little awry. If we remember that every single thing in our life and every single person in our life is there by divine appointment, that there's some level of agreement. So I had an experience a couple of weeks ago where there was an accident and a cyclist was hit. And the person, after they were hit by the car in front of me, they landed in front of my car and I had to swerve out of the way. And the car behind me actually rode over the woman. When I got to her side, at that point she was unconscious, but she gained a level of consciousness anyway. She was in obviously a lot of pain, and EMS arrived. And so as I'm sitting there after the fact, because it was a huge trauma to go through that, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Buddhist, and they were kind enough to take me through a meditation process, but then reminded me at the end that her and I, the person who was struck, her and I had an agreement. Somehow we had an agreement that I would be with her at that point, and that she's my sister. And if we think about what we teach there's only one thing going on, that there is energy, and that energy moves, and it moves according to thought. So we take this energy, this nothingness, and we form it by thinking. And things don't happen outside of us, they happen through us. And so if we remember that and look at that, what we soon come to realize is that each and every one of us are part of the whole. That each and every one of us, no matter what we think, say, or do, we are doing it as a part of the collective, which means everything is impacting everything else. So what does that mean for us moving forward? When we think about now what? We look at our world today and maybe we think it's a mess. What I want to remind us this morning is that where we want to focus our attention is on what we truly desire, not that which we choose to change. Okay, so we don't focus on the problem, we focus on the desired result. So what is it that we would like? I remember when I first joined CSL, the vision was awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. I loved that. That spoke to me. That said to me exactly what it was we were trying to do. Let people know they're spiritual beings first and foremost. And as spiritual beings, there isn't a beginning or an ending. However, there are transitions that occur. So we move from life to life, and it looks different. We live in this life journey with an idea or an attitude or an opportunity to be who we are. We stand moment by moment, doing the very best we can with what we have, what we know. And if we're willing, we open ourselves up so that we can experience more of the grace that has already been provided. We are here by grace. We are here because there's something that we're meant to do or to be. We're not here by accident. We're here by divine appointment. And as we look at the world around us, it's easy to go, it's broken, it's flawed, it's bad, it's wrong, it's this, it's that. Or we can take a look at it and go, what if I see the world as peaceful, compassionate, kind, and loving, respectful? What if I choose to focus my attention on that which I desire, creating a world that works for the highest and best good of all life everywhere? That's a good vision, I think. Creating something bigger and brighter than what we've currently experienced. And how do we do that? Well, we do that by first and foremost loving and appreciating ourselves. We have to see ourselves as someone with a clear sense of who I am and what it is I bring. Because if we know that and do that, and I'm here to tell you, you do know, even if you're going to tell me, I don't know what my purpose is, you actually do know what your purpose is. You might not want to look at it. You might not want to think about it. You might want to stuff it down and pretend that you don't know. But ultimately, we do know who we are. We do know what it is we're here to do. And so the greatest way we can speak to ourselves, instead of when somebody asks us, what is my purpose, to sit back and say, I'm not remembering at the moment, but I'm willing to remember. That's telling the truth. Well, if we're willing to remember, then we're telling the truth. But if we're telling the truth about it, we're willing to open up to seeing and being and allowing something greater to move through us. So I'm here to tell you today that the awakening is really about finding within yourself that divine presence and living from that. Instead of doing, choosing instead to simply be. One of the greatest acts that we can do is being inactive. We're not human doings. We are human beings. And so we want to switch that up so that we allow ourselves to be in our life, experiencing what it is we have created, And if what we've created, we don't like it, changing our thinking to create a new pathway forward. You see, we're walking a path. We're walking this path, and it's personal to each one of us. No two alike. There isn't two that have exactly the same mission, purpose. It's everyone is different. And as we remember what ours is, and then choose to lovingly give it into the world, then the world begins to morph into something new. And we're starting to see the awakening. We're seeing the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter movement, Every Child Matters. We're seeing all of this shift that's happening. And it's happening because it's time. We're not hiding anymore. I remember as a little kid, what was said in the house stayed in the house. Do not talk to people about what's going on at home. That's private. Well, that privacy created a lot of harm in the long run for many, many people. Well, today, not much privacy. Everything's out on the internet. So privacy is kind of a thing of the past. The benefit of it is that a lot of the harm that was done in the shadows is now being brought into the light. And although it might look ugly and dirty and messy, and it might be painful and ugly, because we can see it, we can change it. That's powerful. So when we ask the question, now what? The answer, I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to be me. I'm willing to shine. That's the mandate moving forward. So I want to invite you to just relax in your seat, close your eyes if you're comfortable. We're going to go into a little meditation. And I want you to invite you just to let go of any activity, any thoughts, anything you're worried about or thinking about, and just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just allowing yourself to relax in your seat. And another inhale just takes you a little bit deeper. Just feel your body sinking into your chair, your shoulders drop, your hands just rested in your lap. Just a peacefulness, just filling every aspect of your physicality. And as you allow your breath to normalize, breathing in, breathing out. It is in this place of relaxation that I discover my true potential. I see myself clearly. And as I do, I'm filled with a sense of respect and pride and joy at the way that I see myself. And I invite you to look at yourself in a way that fills you with love. Seeing the beautiful work that you do and have done. And if at this moment you don't remember your purpose, I invite you to just say to yourself, I'm willing to remember and to be. I'm willing to remember and to be. And I invite you with that to take a deep breath and just let yourself drop a little deeper into your heart center. And take a moment to listen. as we sit in the silence, listening to the still small voice of spirit, inspiration comes. Listen. Listen to the thoughts that enter your awareness. Welcome thoughts that come as they come. Welcome them. And it is in that welcoming space that I hear my next steps. And without reservation, I step fully into my life. And I live with passion, with purpose, with excitement. All is well. So I invite you to take a deep breath and just begin to move your fingers and toes and just gently bring yourself back to this moment and place and time.